All right, everybody, we do have a few stragglers coming in, but we're going to go ahead and get started. So, good afternoon, welcome, and thank you guys very much for being here today. This is a very instrumental part to our project process, and I presume that everyone here is present for the pre-proposal meeting for RFQ 7021. This is the design build services for a new Jackson County detention facility. We'd like to take this opportunity to provide insight into our project and to answer any questions you may have. My name is Brian Gaddy. I'm the Director of the Public Works Department for Jackson County, and along with County Administrator Troy Schulte, which right in front here, will be managing the process through completion of this project. I'd also like to take a moment to introduce several distinguished guests here today, beginning with the project steering committee. County Executive Mr. Frank White Jr., 16th Circuit Court presiding judge, Judge Dale Youngs in the front row. Three individuals not here with us today, Legislator Teresa Galvin, Sheriff Darrell Forte, and Prosecutor Gene Peters Baker. Also have several legislators in the House today, Jalen Anderson, Tony Mueller, Scott Burnett. Also have newly elected Legislative Chairman Charlie Franklin. Thank you, gentlemen, for being here today. Appreciate it. Today's program will start off with a few remarks from the County Executive, followed by technical insight from Dan Wayne Mueller with JCDC Partners. JCDC Partners is the county's owner's representative for this project and will be with us through completion. Next, we'll have Chrissy Wooderson. Chrissy is going to be discussing compliance and utilization goals. And then we'll wrap up with Barb Casamento from Jackson County Finance and Purchasing. She will be going through the RFQ process and will answer any questions you may have. So at this time, I'd like to introduce the County Executive, Mr. Frank White, for his remarks.
Thanks, Brian.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Brian, and thank you all for being here this afternoon. I also want to thank our legislators for being here. Judge, thank you for coming out this afternoon. I just want to on behalf of the steering committee, I'd like to thank the legislature and the county associates for their work and their plans to build this new detention center for Jackson County. Tonight is your opportunity to learn more about the project and the questions that you might have about the RFQ. The detention center plays a critical role in our community, and it's one part of the overall public safety system of Jackson County. Our commitment to our citizens of Jackson County is to meet the community's needs by planning and building a detention center that is safe, secure, and incorporates thoughtfully designed long-term solutions for Jackson County justice system. As a member of the steering committee, working alongside the legislature and county associates, we've created a framework that incorporates best management practices and ensures a safe environment for all detainees, visitors, and associates, providing justice with dignity and guiding principle of a new detention center. Evidence-based treatment, educational resources, and social service programs will be incorporated to reduce recidivism. Before concluding, I'd like to emphasize one last key point, and that is the design of this facility is very important. The new facility is to operate efficiently. The cost to operate the facility will be consistent with current cost, and there would be accompanied by thorough operational upgrades. That would be accomplished through thorough operational upgrades and better designed facility. So we look forward to your creative ideas and the solutions, and we want to also thank you for being here again today. And just to walk you through the delivery of this project, I'm going to introduce Dan Wayne Mueller. He's with JCDC, our partners in this project, so he can kind of catch you guys up to date on this project and how it's going to be delivered to you today. So thank you all for coming. It's a great crowd, and really appreciate seeing a lot of familiar faces. Thank you.
Thank you, Frank. Appreciate the opportunity to be here. As he said, my name is Wayne Mueller with JCDC Partners, acting as owner's rep on this new exciting project. So want to briefly discuss the project delivery because this is a bit of a new process and a new methodology for the county. For those of you who may be familiar with working with this organization in the past, this is not exactly what the state statute has laid out in the past. This is a new system. This is not a best value design build project. The intent with this job is to do this as design to budget. Now, what that offers the county is faster delivery, more county control, and what we believe lower overall cost. So a budget has been established. $256,500,000 not to exceed is the established budget, and that was published in the RFQ, which I'm presuming most of you now at this point are familiar with. The first step towards a qualifications-based selection is that RFQ, which the deadline is January 18th. Now, what's key to point out with this delivery method versus best value, which you might be more familiar with, is there will be no design during this selection. It's qualifications based.
Can you speak a little bit more to that? Some people have a hard time.
My apologies. I can tell already. So qualifications based. So no design will be asked for during this qualification selection. We will be doing technical proposals. There will be costs, but it will only be on pre-construction service fees, bonds, insurance, reimbursables, things of that nature. So when we select the design build entity, they will go through pre-construction. So at that point, the design that will be presented to the legislature along with the GMP, and then that will be approved as opposed to coming forward with a full design up front. So what we're looking at are multiple packages. We're going to work with our design build entity to determine how many there are. We would presume about 3, early earthwork package, site infrastructure, a core and shell package, and then likely a tenant fit out or interior fit out package. Now, each of those packages would then go back to the legislature for approval and a modification to the GMP. Now, what that means for those who are here in the trades and are interested in bidding means that as we progressively work through this design, we will be issuing those packages, and each of those will be competitively bid completely. Everything will be competitively bid on this job. That doesn't mean that there might not be self-performed work if that's in the best interest of the project, but what that means is for the MBEs and WBEs is you are free to competitively bid on any piece of the project as that comes along. You're not necessarily obligated to tie yourself to, although you may choose to, tie yourself to a design build team at this stage. At this point, there is no scope that we can present to you and say, this is what it is, this is what you need to bid, this is how you're going to help this project. That will come with time as we progressively work through the packages, as the design evolves, and as we go through the steps of the GMP being approved and modified by the legislature. So if we can go to the next slide. So project site, we reviewed over 40 sites collectively with the county, and what you see on the screen now is the final selected site, 7000 East US 40 Highway. Some of you probably drove right past it on your way here. It is just west of the sports complex, located adjacent to US Highway 40, of course. That's Manchester Traffic Way to the east and Blue River to the west. So as you can hopefully tell on the screen, there is a blue diagonal line cutting across the site. That's a 1,000-foot setback requirement from the city of Kansas City, stepping us back from the river, but more importantly, the Blue Valley Park that is on the other side. The site is about 100+ acres. The project program really only calls for a need for facility, probably fills about 30. So what this provides the county is the opportunity to have space to master plan and land bank and see how the needs of the county evolve over the life of this project. So it's listed now as 2 different parcels. So parcel 1, as this site is divided along that 1,000-foot setback to the east, will be the location that the facility is actually built upon as the larger parcel. Parcel number 2 to the west is, again, within that 1,000-foot setback. It will be utilized for future expansion master planning needs as they become apparent down the road. We are within the floodplain, 100-year floodplain. We are currently working with the city on permitting and underway and getting their site ready. It will be ready for the design builder upon the approval of the contract. As many of you also probably know, it is currently the home of the Hart Mobile Village. At this time, half of the occupants have been relocated. Those who remain are owners as opposed to leasing tenants. And we are on schedule for their relocation, and the site will be ready upon contract award by the legislature. So this time I'm going to pass it back to Chrissy Wooderson with the legislative auditor.
Chrissy Wooderson with the Legislative Auditor's Office. I'm going to go over compliance and diversity goals for this project. There will be several aspects of compliance throughout the duration of this project. The first order of compliance within the RFQ itself, the respondent bidding on this project will be required to obtain a certificate of compliance through the Jackson County Compliance Review Office. This certificate, it certifies that your Jackson County taxes are paid and that you attest and agree to equal employment opportunity. Everything else that I talk about from this point forward pertains to Phase 2, the request for proposals. There is information in the RFQ that speaks to it to give you a heads up, but it will come into the project in Phase 2 of the RFP. The second area of compliance, to maximize opportunities for minority and women business enterprises, compliance for MBE and WBE utilization will be required on any resulting contract. Respondents selected to issue proposals for consideration in Phase 2, the request for proposals, shall ensure that it and its subcontractors collectively make good faith efforts to meet established MBE and WBE goals set forth in this project. And the goals are stated on the screen there. They are 12.3% MBE and 10.7% WBE. The design build team is encouraged to exceed these percentages. A form for a contract utilization plan will be included in the packet in Phase 2 request for proposals. In this form, the respondent will list the minority and women enterprises that it commits to utilizing. The plan must demonstrate that the respondent will meet or exceed the MBE and WBE goals or fully document a good faith effort in trying to do so. The plan commitments shall become contractual agreements upon contract award. Information on how to find certified minority and women-owned firms, as well as links to databases of commonly accepted certifications, can be found on the Compliance Review Office webpage at www.jacksongov.org/MWVBE. Jackson County does not certify minority and women-owned firms. Instead, we take certifications from other entities, including but not limited to the City of Kansas City, the State of Missouri, the State of Kansas, KCATA, and Mountain Plains Supplier Diversity Council. Another area, please be aware Jackson County encourages utilization of veteran-owned businesses and a diverse workforce utilization percentages. However, this participation in both of these areas is strictly voluntarily, but it will be included in the evaluation of Phase 2 and become contractual requirements upon contract award. Finally, compliance with prevailing hourly rate of wages is required on any resulting contract. The current annual wage order will be included in Phase 2 of the request for proposals. More information on any of these areas that I have just briefly gone over can be found on the Jackson County's webpage under Compliance Review Office. Thank you. And I will turn it over to Barbara Casamino, who is the Purchasing Administrator.
Yeah, it's only one at a time. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. I'm short, so I'm going to have to... Can you hear me, Angie? Okay. I'm the Purchasing Administrator for Jackson County. I've been with the county for almost 39 years now. I put out the request for qualifications package, and the first thing I want to tell everybody is the first thing I say to any pre-bid. If you're going to take, we realize it takes time and money and a lot of manpower to put one of these together. So please, if you're going to do this request for proposal, make sure it's to the Jackson County Purchasing Department downtown on the ground floor before 2 p.m. If you're going to trust your proposal to FedEx, UPS, the mail, you can call and check if it's there. I would not do that on something this important. I would bring it down and deliver it myself. I'm going to go over a few of the forms that are in the package. Page 2 is the affidavit that must be filled out. Page 3 is the compliance information. Page 4 is the statement of no qualifications if you choose not to bid and you want to turn that in. Acknowledge of receipt of addenda. I know there will be at least 1 or 2 addendums on these. You can find it the same place that you found this RFQ package. If you're having trouble with that, give us a call or an email and we'll help guide you to it. But we ask that you do look at the addendums because they will have very helpful information on there, including the sign-up sheets from today. The timeline, this RFQ is being delivered in person. The deadline, again, is January 18th at 2 o'clock. The RFP will go out on Bonfire, which is a new software that the county is moving to here in a couple of weeks. So we hope to get all of you notified. It's a very easy process to go on and sign up for this. Much easier than it is now. We've got the insurance requirements on the back, and there's an example of what you can expect for a performance bond. If you have any questions on this or any of the forms, please feel free to call my office or to contact me, and we'll help you out. Thank you. Sure.
All right, thank you, everybody. That concludes our portion of the presentation. If you guys happen to have any questions, we'd be happy to answer those at this time. There's a lot of not shy people I know in this room, so if anybody has a question, now's your... Yes, sir, please, in the back.
All right. With this being a public works project, utilizing taxpayer funds, I saw the WB and the MB requirement, but we're hopeful that it will not have a project labor agreement in place. So, that would eliminate a lot of qualified candidates from bidding on the project. And you guys maybe need determination or what is your selection criteria going to look like in that area?
So a formal project labor agreement, I believe, is not allowed within the county. Now, whether we have agreements moving forward, that will be left to be determined within the proposal, which you will all see very shortly. So, any information regarding that will come out in due time. Anybody else? Nobody else. Going once. Twice sold. All right, thank you guys very much for being here today. Appreciate it. Grab a cookie on the way out. We have a lot left over. And thank you again for your participation in this. Thank you again. Appreciate it.